you've probably seen the title and you either know what this is about or you don't. So yeah, let's have a discussion about music.
A while ago, let's say a few weeks ago, a chap called Damian Keyes did a video called Stop Selling Music on YouTube. And the thing he proposed was that bands should stop selling CDs and music in general, which gives you a gut reaction. So we'll start there, I think. And on the whole, I think we do agree with Damo. But it's obviously quite an emotive thing. I mean, the concept is, hey bands, you know that thing that you're working really hard at and trying to be successful, and everyone knows, of course, you have to sell CDs, you have to move, units or whatever. And so to say, no, stop doing that, it sounds like, well, stop trying to be successful, stop trying to do the thing that everyone knows works. And that's kind of like a bit of a punch in the gut, and I can understand that. But that's based on an assumption that selling CDs works and that people buy CDs, and that anything else is kicking the trend and saying that it's going to be really hard and difficult, and I think it just needs to be different. So we used to be in a more traditional kind of band, as in we played more gigs, basically. We were in a band called Hand, that was like prog metal, and we played gigs up and down the country, and we released 3 albums, and we were signed to a few different labels, very small labels, and it was good fun, but we didn't sell very many CDs. Maybe that's us, maybe that's the fact that it's prog, or maybe it's indicative of something else. There's lots of factors, no doubt. But now, of course, we're Boxtape, and we're primarily putting out videos and talking to people and sharing. That's what we're doing. We've chosen to do a slightly different model. We've chosen to try and build a community online, which is kind of, I think, what Damo's getting at. If you're trying to sell CDs, that's one thing, but is it what people are buying? Yeah,
and I say, like, this is the kind of stuff I've been researching on my course, and consumer habits and that have changed. Consumers are more interested now in how they can interact with artists and brands and all that kind of thing, rather than just buying products. They sell an experience rather than an actual physical thing. You could use Netflix. It's like that. It's the experience of having seamless kind of video anywhere, rather than...
You don't buy videos, DVDs so much.
Exactly.
It's as a service. It's monthly.
Exactly. It's everything's kind of moving in that direction, away from just selling a product to someone. It's almost like consumers have got a bit smarter with marketing. Like, they don't want to be sold to anymore. They want to be part of the experience. And I suppose CDs work with gigs because a gig is an experience. It's like a reminder of that experience. So we found that we always used to sell the most CDs when we were playing gigs.
Yeah, and people just want to come up and say, "Hey, great gig, really enjoyed it. Can I have a CD? Can I have a signed CD?" As if that has any more value. Of course. What does our signature have as a small band? What does the signature have in terms of value? It has that thing. It was something I really enjoyed what you did. I want to say thanks, and it's a really personal interaction. Netflix is like Netflix is like joining a club as well. You get all this exclusive content.
Yeah,
and it's kind of join a club. And with a band, I think that's what Damo's saying. Sell, like, be a part of it. Join a club.
Yeah, and CDs still work in that kind of live way, but as the main way of making money, of which, it used to be the way that bands made money was through album sales, but since, 10 years or more, and everything's gone digital, and literally everything in the music industry has changed, that is not the way that artists make money anymore. Even the big artists, the revenue that they get from recorded music sales is way, way down compared to what it was. And it's just, there has to be other ways to make money now.
So, I've just checked the camera was recording. It wasn't like a nice segue. I talked to my mother yesterday. It was Mother's Day yesterday, and I said all about this, stop selling music, and that we might do a video on it. And she said, well, that's just weird. What do you mean stop selling music? And she was like, isn't it a shame? And music shops, and it's a thing to go to and a thing to do. And I said, well, how much have you spent in the music on music in like the last year? She said, well, I got a Robbie Williams CD. I said, in the last year? And she'd gone online and on Amazon and bought a Robbie Williams CD. But she said, because I don't have access to the technology. She said, what do you do in the car? And I said, well, hook it up to Bluetooth and do it that way. She says, well, I don't have that. Do new cars have CD players? I said, well, no, not really. Anyway, it's kind of what you know. She liked the music and she used the means possible to her to get it. But how many people actually just hear something, want to go and buy a CD. It's not what people do in the day to day. You're on your phone, aren't you? It's convenient. You do it that way. That's how you engage with it. And she was a bit sad about it, and I think that's kind of the sentiment that I can understand, because it's sad. Why can't musicians sell CDs? Why don't bands make money selling CDs? Why don't people want to buy it? Why is it there's nothing physical? Why is it this amorphous blob of just everything's the same? You're scrolling through. There's nothing exceptional. You're not going and interacting with the shop and browsing and that kind of stuff. And that is a bit of a shame. We were talking about online shopping the other day, and the idea that the high street's nice because you see things you wouldn't expect. On your phone, you're advertised to what an algorithm thinks you want, or you can search for something, find exactly what you want, or you push something. Much harder to browse, because in with the nice products and the things you actually want, there's a load of stuff you don't want. Whereas if you look around a shop, something can catch your eye, and I think that's a shame. That's what's missing a bit, sort of browsing. But in terms of like the people who are really pissed off with this sentiment, I think it's people in bands or people who want to support bands. So my question is, why does it have to be a CD to support a band? Why does it have to be a CD when you're asking for support of fans? I think if you said as a band, hey, go and listen on Spotify, or try and get some, help us get some more plays for a playlist, or follow us on Instagram and stuff. If you like that band, I think you'd want to do that. You'd be happy to do that. And I think if you said, come to our shows or buy a shirt or something, I think they'd be happy to do that as well. And I think if you're connecting with people, I think it would be just as good. In fact, it's probably better, rather than just this CD, which at the moment, it's like hard enough to find somewhere to play a CD, or it's harder, let's say. Why not give them something more personal, more unique, and try something else? They can get the music in the most convenient format still, but you can support bands in other ways. The question is, like, no one gets it day to day. Like, what is the way that bands can make money if not CDs? I'm asking you.
Okay. Basically, it's having as many income streams as possible. So music is part of the way you make money, either through like physical sales or digital sales. There's also stuff like sync licensing, so getting your music into adverts, films, games, all that kind of thing. That's another income stream.
It would be awesome, like,
to
have music in a game.
Yeah, that kind of thing is growing really, rapidly at the moment. It's a way that musicians make some kind of money. There's also kind of other merch. So aside from your general like CDs and T-shirts, it can be very obscure things like tea, your own brand of tea, or like clothing. Nice. Yeah, like clothing range or jewelry or whatever it is.
So that's harder, right?
Yeah, that is. I mean, a lot of this stuff we're talking about, you're thinking, wow, okay, it's more... Hesitate to say the word established artists would have access to that, because I think everybody has access to it. I think a lot of people just...
I think it's harder.
Yeah.
It's not obvious.
Yes.
It's like, I make music, I put value in music, I hope people do as well, I want them to buy a CD. That's obvious.
Yeah.
I think you can still do it. So the big thing would be... make music, have people value music and want to support you, and that's where I think things like crowdfunding, like Patreon, come into it. If you really want to get that connection, people can say, I like what you do so much, so like 5 or 6 different YouTubers I really like, and I support them on Patreon, just a small amount, and feels really good. And Andrew Huang, so he's a musician and producer on YouTube. Haven't bought any of his albums, but listen to all his stuff, watch it on YouTube, check it out on Spotify from time to time, and support him on Patreon. And it feels great, and it feels better, really, than, I bought that CD a year ago. So yeah, that's why not have that as the struggle? Why not at gigs say, hey, follow us on, support us on Patreon, or buy a CD here, sure, but, why does it have to be the music?
I think I'm going to say 3 times. It's because musicians just pour so much into the music, everything that goes into it, and for musicians, that finished piece of music is the thing. That's what they're getting at, and they want everybody to love the thing, and that's the thing that's most important to them. And a lot of the other stuff that we've been talking about is kind of secondary. Like, it's all sort of admin stuff that you sort of need to do, but it's less interesting to somebody that just wants to create this perfect thing that people are going to love. So I think that's the emotional reaction of musicians going, but this is the thing, this is what I dedicate my life to, and now it's essentially worthless. But it's not worthless in kind of how people respond to it, or how it makes you feel, or how it makes other people feel. But in terms of monetary value now, it's kind of worthless.
The delivery of it is,
and
difficult.
that's why I think everybody gets so like emotionally charged about it, because it's like, well, this is everything. This song, this CD, this thing that I've been working on for years is everything, and now it's basically nothing. And that sucks, really, a little bit. It does suck.
I mean, the key point of demos that really resonated with me was him answering questions and criticisms, and him saying, I don't know what to tell you, mate. People aren't buying CDs. That's all he's saying. And then he goes on to talk about, what you can sell, and it's not the music. It's just because people aren't buying it. So it's just, if you're trying to sell something there's no demand for, it's not going to happen. So you need to think differently.
We wanted to kind of give our perspective on it, being musicians that have been in the industry for a while and had like very deliberately made a point of stopping being in a sort of traditional band and really stopping selling music, because like since we've been doing Boxtape and YouTube, like we haven't done a physical release, we haven't done a CD. We've pretty much put some singles out on Spotify. We're
still building.
Yeah.
The question is, when do you stop building and actually start making it happen?
Yeah.
When does that transition happen? And of course, typically it would be when you get popular, people want to buy your CDs. We're trying to work out how to sum this up.
I think it's just a shift in like mindset of, okay, this is, I'm still a musician, I'm just approaching it from a different angle.
If you send them a shirt, it's like join the club, and they'll show it off and they'll be really proud of it. What's wrong with merch? People want your music, they'll like your music, they'll support you in other ways. Maybe it's as simple as that.
The argument could be, how much are you really going to make from selling anything unless you have an audience? Really. But there isn't really an easy answer to this. There's no, right, okay, well, if we stop selling CDs, then we must start doing this and everything will be fine and, everybody will make lots of money again. I don't think there's an easy option.
It's a bloody hard industry.
Yeah, I mean, and the point is, at the moment, that the music industry has undergone huge change and is still kind of in the middle of that. It's still changing at a very fast rate. You still want to sell what you do.
Make music. If you change music to band and community, maybe sell that. Start selling yourselves better. Stop selling the boring output. Sell the process, sell the people.
Sell the world of your band rather than just a product of your band.
Yeah. There'll be awesome music as well, and people will buy into the music. They just might not buy the music.
That was a good line. I like that one. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you found that interesting or infuriating, and yeah, we'll be back really soon with another video.
Do a like and subscribe and a comment, and see you next time. Bye. You could sell is a CD player, because that's kind of
retro,
quite obscure now. A CD player with the CD in.
Yeah.
That work? Does that get around? Stop selling music? I don't know.
Yeah.